Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Random Chatter Reviews. This is episode number 358. I am here tonight with Tim and Eric. Tim, how are you?
I am doing awesome.
Good deal. And Eric, you gonna one up Tim now?
I am doing super awesome.
Awesome.
Wow.
Fantastic.
I'm doing awesomer. I'm the awesomest and the most humble.
So the rest of that joke, you got to watch our last episode of Force Chatter because Tim went up me on that show. So
ironically, which is a review episode, in fact.
Exactly. Yeah. In fact, the main pick we have tonight, not the main pick, but the joint pick, if you will, we covered that extensively in Force Chatter. So we'll just jump right in. This week, the only thing that we've all seen at least a little bit of has been the new Vision series on Disney Plus, which is that Japanese animation style. I think it's 9 episodes done by, I think, 6 different studios. And it's all their own take on Star Wars content. None of it's canon. It's just their own take on things. It's
one of them has a canon.
It's fun.
Yeah, canon.
Pretty big canon. Yeah, pretty big canon. So to hear our full review on that, go over to Force Chatter obviously for that. But quickly, roundtable here. Tim, what'd you think of Visions? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Overall, a lot of fun. I've seen the first 5 episodes of it. Thought it was great. Really enjoyed it.
Eric?
I did not like it as well as Tim. There were a couple of standout episodes that I like. A lot of it I did not, but I also understand that that's just me. I'm only just kind of starting to get into anime in general anyway, and then I felt like this was a lot of presentation without a lot of story. However, I think episodes 1, 4, 5, and 8, if you decide that maybe the whole thing isn't for you, but you want to sample some of it, I think those are the strongest.
If you're a fan of music, episode 2 is the one you want to
If you're a fan of music, do not watch the second one. You'll never listen to music again.
Very true, very true. Yeah, I've only seen the first 2 episodes, and the second one kind of stalled me. I'm like, oh boy, it's going to be rough to watch these, but I'm going to go back and finish that at some point.
Some are worth it.
Yeah. Newly released content.
Easy for you to say. Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Good job, Lou.
I don't think I've seen anything new this week that was actually new, for streaming or for regular access television. But you guys have. So, Tim, why don't you bring us up to speed on what you've been watching that's new?
I can't believe you didn't watch Foundation.
I just got Apple TV Plus tonight as we were recording Force Chat. I was waiting for it to sign up for it. I knew I was getting it, but I read the book. I reread the book.
I didn't read the book. I don't know. And I'm a big Asimov fan. So
Tim, we cut you off there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right. So let's see. Watch Kate.
Okay.
Kate is Kate was a fun movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And that's on Netflix, and that's something we're going to cover on Movie Chatter this coming week.
Lou, you're very blurry.
Yeah. Very blurry.
You're very blurry. Like your autofocus on your camera decided to take a nap.
Damn it. This damn camera.
You're very blurry, and your camera is too.
So this has Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Woody Harrelson is in it. It's a cool like a noir actiony kind of movie, very gritty urban kind of thing. I thought it was a lot of fun. I really did. What did you guys think of it?
I started it because we're going to be covering it on Movie Chatter this week. And I thought about Star Wars Visions, and I thought, you know what? One of us better see all of them before we review them tonight. So I actually stopped it tonight and went back and watched it instead of Kate. But what I saw of Kate, I got through maybe the first half hour or so. And honestly, after looking at the trailers, I thought it was going to be another one of those. What was the one that we did recently with the library, and it kind of felt like a John Wick meets Zack Snyder sort of thing.
Gunpowder Milkshake.
Yeah.
Gunshot.
I'm thinking, this looks like another one of those things where it's all like crazy over the top stuff. And it really wasn't like it. The first half hour anyway, kind of pulled me in, and I'm really liking it more than I expected to.
The trailer looks really good. That's why I kind of suggested we do it for Movie Chatter. I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I just have not had a chance to watch it yet. So
I'm looking forward to getting back to it. I think Robin had said she'd seen it and it was really good. Mm-hmm. I'm sold. I'm like, as soon as this recording is done, I'm going to go right back to it again before I go to bed and hopefully finish it up tonight.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was a lot of fun. Really well done movie.
What else has she been in? Because I think she was in the Birds of Prey movie, which I did not like.
Yes, she was.
But I know the name. I feel like she's been in other things that I've seen. I didn't mean to make anybody look it up. I could have looked it up myself.
Birds of Prey, Gemini Man.
Okay.
She did some voicing in Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh, okay.
She was in Fargo, if you watched that.
Okay.
10 Cloverfield. That's probably where you know her from.
Ah, okay. All right. So seen some of the things, definitely heard about her in the other things. Those are all pretty prominent projects. So okay.
Yeah, she's done a lot. I mean, I'm like scrolling down through her filmography. She's done a lot since like the late 90s.
Yeah.
So let's see. Also watched The Protégé.
How was that? Because that's the next thing we're going to cover in Movie Chatter.
Protégé was a lot of fun. Maggie Q, Sam Jackson, Michael Keaton. So obviously really, really good cast to it. Great action, good story, good movie. I definitely, recommend that to folks. That was a good movie.
And where is that streaming?
That is on Prime.
Okay.
Well, and it's also on iTunes, so it's purchase only. I don't want to call it pay-per-view because you can watch it as many times as you want. It's not per view, but you have to buy it.
Yeah. Right now it's a purchase only.
Okay.
And I thought it was worth it. So.
Okay.
Good. Do we get a showdown between Nick Fury and Batman?
Kind of.
Okay. No spoilers.
So, I read something interesting about that, though. It's done by the same studio that does John Wick.
Yeah.
And there was some speculation as to whether or not this is in the same universe.
Okay.
It absolutely could be.
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing that negates it. And it is this kind of like assassin-y kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's it's pretty cool. It's a good world that they built. Robert Patrick is also in it.
Oh, yes. Okay.
For some reason, like everything that my wife and I have watched over the last week had Robert Patrick in it. Like the dude popped up everywhere. Young Robert Patrick, old Robert Patrick, didn't matter what we watched. Boom, there he was. So yeah. And then the other new thing was we watched it last night was Being James Bond. This is on Apple TV. It is primarily focused on Daniel Craig and his run as James Bond. And pretty heavily, I mean, there's a lot of other people that, have different appearances in it and such. And it's interesting where they kind of parallel his personal journey through the films along with the story arc of Bond throughout those films as well. They talk about, like, right up front how much he was vilified, particularly by the Brits, when it was first announced that he was going to be Bond. Like, they hated the choice.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. There was a lot of discussion about that. Blonde hair, blue eyes. Yeah, it's like,
yeah. They absolutely hated the choice. And then suddenly, like, they showed how ripped he got from, like, his insane workout regimen, and everyone all of a sudden now loved him. And they're like, oh, he's going to be an awesome Bond. Just really, really crazy.
And they were right. He's my favorite Bond.
He's done a good job with this. I mean, it's been a great rebirth of the series, and taking it from the kind of campy stuff we had in the predecessors.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's they actually even mentioned that specifically. They didn't bash the Pierce Brosnan stuff, but they definitely said that, like, they were getting more and more outrageous through.
Brosnan was not the
movies.
Only campy Bond.
No,
though.
there were other. Yeah.
I mean, they all were in essence, and they even said with Daniel Craig that kind of he started to get not necessarily campy, but started to like throw some of the phrasing out there, and they were bringing back, reflecting on some of the older stuff. But the Pierce Brosnan stuff like truly did get outrageous,
right?
Which is the reason, like, to me, they're fine movies, but they are not James Bond movies. And they really said like Daniel Craig's movies really ground Bond a lot more.
Yeah,
it is definitely more realistic, I guess you'd say, right? It's not
for as much as James
crazy
Bond
out
can
there
be.
stuff. But and it's funny because I'll talk about this later on. I've been rewatching all the Daniel Craig James Bond movies to get ready for No Time to Die, coming up in 2 weeks, and they purposely didn't do some of the phrasing. He didn't use the same words and didn't order the martini the same way and stuff purposely. But in the last movie, Inspector, I just finished watching Inspector. Even then they're starting to get back to that a little bit of the banter between him and some of the characters. Like when he goes to Q and he's like, he gives him a watch. He's like, does it do anything? He's like, it tells time. I was like, oh, okay. So they still brought back some of that, but still in a real world-esque nature. Yeah.
So if you're a James Bond fan, highly recommend. It was really good. So check it out.
And that's on Apple TV Plus?
That's on Apple TV. Yep.
Okay.
Very cool.
Well, also on Apple TV Plus is Foundation.
Nice.
Which Lou still has to watch.
I just got Apple TV Plus tonight, so
you're slacking. And you got to get Apple Arcade too, so you can play that Lego Star Wars Battles game.
Downloaded that during the last episode we recorded.
Good job. And Tim, you have to watch Foundation too.
About Foundation. Now, did this release everything all at once, or is it one a week?
So they've released 2 episodes so far. And for those who have read the books, and again, I've not, so this is just what I've read online and been told. They are, and by the way, also apparently what they said in the podcast, there is an official podcast that they're releasing after each episode.
Okay.
Each week. By, now I forget the names of the makers of this show, and one of them is like a super, super big name. It's right on the tip of my tongue, and as soon as we hit the stop button on the show, I'm going to remember exactly who it is. Anyway, they're not jumping around as much with like the time periods and stuff like that. They're focusing on the kind of the fall of the empire now. The more historical side of it is what we're seeing as like right now in the series. Like the opening shot is in the future, and then it kind of goes back to the past. And the first 2 episodes take place almost exclusively in that time period.
Okay.
So it seems to be more chronological than I'm told the books are. I don't know if that makes sense because I've read the books.
No, I've only read the first book. I did that on Audible this past week because I wanted to read that before I saw the series. And the first book was this collection of short stories Asimov wrote to kind of put it together into a novel.
Right, that's another thing they mentioned, yeah.
And the book is broken into 4 or 5 different sections of what happens in Foundation. And I'm kind of interested to see if they follow the same kind of storyline, because it talks about the psychohistorians. It talks about the what was the next section of it? It was basically the encyclopedists that were making the Encyclopedia Galactica to keep all the knowledge when the Empire fell apart, and how to shorten. I guess the whole gist of this was how to shorten the fall of the Empire from a 10,000 year Dark Ages down to 1,000 years of bad times between the old Empire and new Empire. So
interesting.
So the TV series is not going to be an anthology. It's not going to be a bunch of individual stories. That's another way in which they deviated from the novels. This is very much what you would expect from an ongoing TV series. So you get all of the characters are recurring. You're seeing what's happening in the different locations, the different characters and stuff. It is not broken up into individual short stories like that.
Okay.
Which is good. I think the producers had said that it's going to take approximately 70 hours worth of content to tell the whole story. So if you figure an hour an episode, and if they do 10 episodes a season, which kind of seems to be the standard these days, that would be 7 seasons.
Right. And that's all the books or just the first book?
Get the impression it would be all the books.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I know he
if it takes 7 seasons to do one book, that's a long book.
That's a long. Yeah, no, it's not that long, but because he also wrote 2 prequels for before the Foundation book. So
yeah, and I don't know exactly. I don't know enough about the novels, about the written part of this, to know if those are included, or if so, how. Foundation is always a series I'd meant to go back and read, because I loved Asimov's short stories that he did around the robots, the 3 laws of robotics and all that. Some of those short stories are brilliant, and some of them have been made into movies. So I've always loved those, and I've always wanted to go back and read Foundation, and now I might. I know the book's different, and this show, they focused more on bringing the characters to life and making people connect a little bit more with the characters. I will say that some of the reviews I've read online have kind of torn it apart for being slow and boring. I didn't find it that way. Lou, you and I have talked over the years about the fact you kind of have to give a show a chance, especially a sci-fi show, because you've got the world building, you've got to let the writers and the characters kind of find their places, and you have to introduce the audience to what's going on and provide context. To me, that's what's going on here. So I didn't find it boring. The pacing is a little bit slow, but there's a lot of depth to it. There's a lot going on. The production quality is, oh my gosh, I don't even want to know how much Apple spent on this. It's crazy.
How long are the episodes?
I think off the top of my head, they're an hour apiece.
Okay.
Maybe a little over an hour. I'm not sure.
Okay, cool.
We'll call it at least an hour apiece. And the first 2 were up already. I don't remember what their release schedule is, but I would say check it out. By the way, another quick thing, if you are a T-Mobile customer or a Sprint customer, because T-Mobile owns them now, you get a free year of Apple TV Plus. I had been paying, I just activated my free thing a day or 2 ago. So if you're a T-Mobile or Sprint customer, I don't think it matters what plan you're on. If you haven't done it yet already, go to the website.
It's a good deal.
Yeah.
Oh, and one other thing too. I think it was last week I mentioned Squid Game, which is a Korean kind of sci-fi post-apocalyptic show on, we'll call it near future show on Netflix. And it's really good. I finished it. I only watched the first episode or 2 when we talked last. The second episode was a little rough, but after that, it really flew through. I thought it was good, and the ending wasn't predictable. I've heard rumors that they're trying to get a second season signed off, and if they don't, it wrapped up this part of the story just fine. If you don't mind either dubbed, or you can watch it with subtitles, or I tend to do both just to see how the dubbing and the subtitles don't match up, because sometimes they don't. If you can sit through that, it's really good. It's an interesting concept that you don't really see done. It's kind of Hunger Games meets The Running Man. That's probably the best way to sum it up.
Okay.
So good stuff.
Cool. So I said I hadn't seen anything brand spanking new, but fairly new for me was Mayor of Easttown. This is an HBO property. I think there's 7 episodes for season 1. Won a bunch of Emmys last week. My wife and I started watching it about a week or so ago. Kate Winslet is the main character of it. She's a detective in a small Pennsylvania town who's, her life's kind of going to hell in a handbasket, and she's trying to investigate this murder. And it's pretty good. I mean, the acting is great. I mean, Kate Winslet's a great actress, anyways. It's amazing how she can go into and out of the Pennsylvania accent, pretty easily. And then you hear in a interview, and you're like, oh yeah, that's right, she's got an accent from.
Yeah, she's English. Yeah,
from Britain. Yeah. So it's actually really good. It's not a feel good fun kind of show. So don't go in thinking, oh yeah, it's all gonna be roses and apples, and no, it's pretty dark. But I'd highly recommend it. It's definitely a good series.
Good.
What about you guys? Anything you found recently that's new to you?
Not really. I've just been keeping up on other stuff. What about you, Tim?
So watched a 2019 movie called The Poison Rose. This had John Travolta, Morgan Freeman, Brendan Fraser, Famke Janssen, another Robert Patrick movie.
Wow, there are 5 actors I never would have put together in a movie together like that.
Yeah, right.
Really, pretty good movie. Pretty good movie. It was pretty enjoyable. Good plot. There were a couple of things in the end that they didn't wrap up, but whatever. It was an enjoyable movie. I didn't mind it.
Good.
Okay. Usual stuff I've been doing. I mean, Lego Masters, I know the season's over, but I haven't finished yet, so don't spoil it.
I watched the finale.
Yeah.
I did too, the day it came out.
I still behind. I think I got 1 episode. No, I got 2 episodes left, I think is. I just finished the one where they built the redo of the houses. In that flying pig house.
Yeah.
My God, talk about these guys are incredible builders. But I'm looking forward to seeing the end. Definitely a good season this year. I mentioned I've been doing all the James Bond movies, catching up to get ready to watch No Time to Die, and I forgot how good Casino Royale was. Skyfall, just some great movies there that really made James Bond come alive for me again. So
I think I still haven't seen the most recent one.
Spectre?
Yeah. I think I've seen Skyfall.
Skyfall is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Skyfall is really like Casino Royale. I think is still my favorite out of his run.
Yeah.
But Skyfall is really good. Like Skyfall's a close second for me. Very
Maybe
close.
I'll
second.
rewatch Skyfall and then because I don't remember it, and then watch Spectre.
Yeah.
Are they streaming anywhere?
I
think
know.
Casino Royale is accessible, maybe like on Netflix or something. But aside from that, James Bond films are really hard to get. Like their distribution contracts are crap as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I own the movie, so I just pop in the DVD and go for it. But I think the opening of Spectre has to be my favorite Bond opening ever.
And he did that with a bum leg.
Did you really?
Yeah. They talk about that in the Being James Bond thing also.
Yeah, I gotta watch that. That opening in Mexico City was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that documentary now.
What about you guys?
I've been just catching up on same old things. Only Murders in the Building is still holding my interest. It's still good.
Renewed for a second season, by the way.
Yes, I heard. We're going to talk about that a little bit in our lightning round episode that we're bringing back. We finally have enough news to kind of throw together an episode. What else? Archer, Titans. This last episode of Titans was really good. Lower Decks. The new season of Doom Patrol just came out. It is less weird than most of season 2. So that's good. After having gone completely off the rails, it's coming back to the rails again, near the rails, next to the rails.
Yeah.
There's some raily things going on there. Just weird shows sometimes. And What If? Which this last episode was pretty good. And I think
this last episode was a lot of fun. Of What If that had to be the most fun episode ever.
It was really good.
I love the way they
thoroughly
threw in
enjoyable.
almost every character you can imagine from the MCU.
Yeah.
Even just bits and pieces. Like they had Jeff Goldblum's character, spinning records. At the rave.
Yeah, badly.
And I will forever know Darcy now as Mrs. Duck.
Lou.
Yeah, there were a lot of really disturbing cameos in that one. Oh, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine finale, like series finale. You guys watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine at all?
I don't.
Oh, well, never mind. It was a very well done series finale, and I'm impressed that they managed. It's always hard to do a finale, especially for a sitcom, and I feel like they did this one justice. I was very impressed with the writing for it. It was a good finale. It was meaningful without being super heavy. And like a tearjerker sort of thing. And yet it also really felt like a good, strong way to bookend the series. I think that, if you're into learning about television writing and stuff like that, I think that the writers really, really, really deserve some good credit for this episode. It was impressive how well they wrapped it up.
Awesome. What about other stuff? Books, games, video games?
Lego Star Wars Battles.
Yeah.
I will play that. I will play that.
And also for me, Castlevania, which is also on Apple Arcade. It's fantastic. Really, really solidly well done game.
And is it like the old classic Castlevania games, and it's just like a more modern iOS-y version of it, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally it is. It's a side scroller.
Okay.
You can pick from several different characters that kind of come from across the Castlevania franchise, along with some new ones too. And the nice thing is that it's not you've hit this level, and in this level you play this character. No, you can play whatever character you want on whatever level. They all obviously have different advantages, disadvantages, abilities, weapons, that kind of stuff. Just like most games now, you're doing upgrades to everything. It's good. It's really well done. Okay. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. But yeah, the Lego game is awesome. And I literally just started playing that a couple hours ago, thanks to Eric reminding me that it existed. So
I'm surprised at how well the gameplay mechanics work.
Yeah,
cool. How they managed to pull that off. Yeah. There's the right balance of progression, challenge versus frustration. Like, it's challenging enough to be challenging without immediately becoming frustrating, but it can be a little bit frustrating, but the frustration never gets to the point where it's no longer fun. It keeps it right at that fine line where it needs to be. Yeah, it's a solid game. Good. Another game coming out this week. I'm not really reviewing it here, but I've been doing a lot of research on it. And that is New World, which is a new MMO that's coming out on Tuesday. And I know some people at work who play it, and they've got like a crap ton of people already for a guild and all that. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll throw in. I like MMOs, and I wouldn't mind trying something new. And there's no monthly subscription fee, nice. So that's kind of nice. And so yeah, having like a large group of people that you already know who you can join is always kind of fun. So that'll be coming out Tuesday. I've been reading up a lot of stuff online and a lot of YouTube videos and stuff. There's a huge community for it, and looking forward to that. By the way, quick shout out in our Discord server, which you can get to by going to randomchatter.com/Discord. Go to the video gaming channel there, and Rusty's been playing City of Heroes for a long time, and they're looking to get some people into that server there. And I played that game a long time ago, and it's a great game. It really is. It's a superhero MMO, and they've done a lot of advancement to it since I last played. And
I think he's talked me into it.
It's really good. Yeah, go ahead, Lou.
It is a good game. I just don't have a good enough system to play on it anymore because it's just I pull a laptop out, I got to set it up. It's just I don't have a place to keep it set up. That's my
Your
problem.
primary desktop computer is a Mac.
Right.
Yeah, and you can run it on a Mac through an emulator, but it's not quite
No.
not quite the same.
It's a fun game. I played a Rusty, I think, twice back when I was trying to get back into it, but I just didn't have the time and didn't have the setup for it. But it's a great game.
It really is. And Rusty's a good guy too. If you hang out on our Discord server, you know him. I would endorse both him and the group he's with and the game. And he's kind of putting, I don't know, not a bounty, a reward. He's willing to throw down quite a bit of resources in the game to help new people out and a good amount of currency and everything. So if ever you were going to check it out, there is no monthly payment. I don't think you have to pay to get the client at all. So I think the whole thing
I think it's all free. Yeah.
It's all free. And you have someone willing to like give you a lot of resources in the game and walk you through it and stuff. This is a time to jump into it. And the character creation, probably one of the best character creation engines I've ever seen in a video game. So anyway.
And you get to be your own superhero with your own cape and your own outfit. It's awesome.
And your own type of powers and everything. And there's just so much customization you can do. So yeah, I wanted to give Rusty a plug for that one. And the game itself, I think it's well deserving of that. So check that out. And then I mentioned last week I've been getting back into comics a little bit. On your recommendation, Tim, I picked up the Moon Knight series, only through like the first issue so far. I just started it. It's good, liking it. And I did pick up Delta V on your recommendation, Lou, but I started Recursion by Blake Crouch.
Oh, yeah.
Blake Crouch from Dark Matter. We interviewed him for that book a long time ago. And then here on Random Chatter.
Recursion was good, yeah.
And then also the Wayward Pines series, which brilliant trilogy of books. Talk about a plot twist that you don't see coming, and they like right there in the middle of the first book, they reveal it, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like it's wild. Probably one of my favorite books ever. Anyway, so Recursion, and I'm only a little bit into it, but so far it's really good. I really
enjoyed Recursion. I forgot about that. I read that a while ago.
Did you? You've read it then?
Yep.
I like his style of writing too. Just the way the characters are, the way they interact with each other. I really need to look up his other stuff. Blake Crouch is just a really good author. Just has a really good writing style. Feels very natural. But that's all I got. You were telling us about a video game you picked up, right?
Things. Yeah, I picked up, two things. I wanted to get Madden 22, new season of football starting. I was like, you know what? I got a PS5 now. Let me get the new version of this and play that. So while it was taking forever to download, I looked around on, is it PlayStation Now? Is that the service they have? I
think so.
Yeah, where you can get
PlayStation Plus
a month and so forth.
Now.
And, I get those two confused. But there was a game on there you could download for free if you're part of that service called Detroit Become Human. It's I don't know how you describe it. It's a game where you're basically following a storyboard and making choices in dialogue and action, and the story plays out in front of you based on what choices you make. So it's kind of like those old books where you go to page 4 if you're on this choice. And
choose your own adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like an interactive movie, kind of.
Yeah, I guess you'd say. Yeah,
there have been some other games similar. I'm trying to think of the one that had Ellen Page in it. Now Elliot Page, but at the time Ellen Page. And it's right on the tip of my tongue, but it's got kind of that sort of feel to it where you're making dialogue choices and, you're walking around an apartment at a crime scene investigation and you're kind of picking up this. So think like some of the Telltale games, but like on steroids.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And you play 3 different characters. One's the investigator. And that's cool because you got to do other stuff besides just choose dialogue. You have to search the crime scene, analyze stuff going on, make decisions. And it's telling you as you're going through this first mission, at least there's a android that took a child, and you're trying to defuse the situation. And it's giving you percentages of where you are in terms of what you're going to, successful outcome or not. you're making choices and you see the meter going down. You're like, oh, that wasn't the right choice. But yeah, it's a fun game. If you're part of the PlayStation Now or PlayStation Plus thing, whatever it is, you can get it for free. I'd say check it out. So
I may have to. I've wanted to play the game for a long time now. It got really good reviews. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick that up.
Yeah, so I'm all over that, and of course we talked about before Foundation. I read the book, Audible book, obviously, and yeah, it was a bit weird. I mean, it's certainly old sci-fi. It was written back in the 40s, so it's maybe not as modern as you probably could be. But I had a hard time kind of just understanding what the trilogy or what the trilogy of the story was going through, because there was 3 parts to it. But at the end, you're like, oh, okay, I kind of get it now. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Apple TV series does with that content. So.
I kind of wanted to hold out until the Apple TV series before I read the books, because I know when you get into a really deep sci-fi author and they get into really heavy stuff, sometimes it can be difficult to visualize in your head what they're talking about. And then when they were trying to do that back in the 40s and 50s, and the concepts and our day-to-day life has changed so radically since then. And then you're just trying to understand what their viewpoint would have been from back then. It's like there are too many layers of translation they have to go through sometimes.
Right.
And so I wanted to have at least the visuals from the TV series first and some of the context. And I think now maybe it might make more sense.
It might, and I've gone back and forth on different things I've seen. Do I read the book first or see the movie first? But
right.
Sure,
I try to do the book first. I that's just me.
Usually it's
I've
better.
known people that say watch the movie first, enjoy the movie for what it is, and then go back and read the book and get the details that you missed out on in the
Then
visual.
I never read the book after I do that. Like, it sounds like a great idea on paper, but then I'm like, well, I've already seen the movie. And that was 2 hours. The book's going to take me 14. I don't have time for that. Yeah, I have to do it the other way around, or I never end up doing it. So, in fact, the only reason I would do it with this is because not all of the video content has been released yet.
Right.
Yep.
And it sounds like it's going to be a much different content too. So
That's another thing.
at least in delivery. So
Yeah, the only thing I can really say that I've wanted to do that with, there are 2 things. One, interestingly enough, they're both from the same creator and they're both the same media, The Walking Dead. Because the comics and the TV series have varied quite a bit. And then Invincible, I read the first couple of issues of the comic before they even announced they were going to do an animated series on Amazon. And now that I've watched the Amazon series, I want to go back and read those comics and see where they go from there. Because they're like, I don't know, the comics are way, way, way down the line. Like the equivalent of like 5 or 6 seasons worth of the show already.
okay.
Right.
So.
While we're on the topic, one last thing before we get off the show, I would say one author that I love reading the books after seeing the movie is Crichton. Michael Crichton stuff was, his books were so much more detailed than the stories were. And he goes into the science behind it and, how they got that. Like, wow. So you read his stuff and it's just a whole different story almost. So recommend that a lot.
All right. Well,
that's it.
That's going to do it for this episode of Random Chatter. Stick around if you're watching this live, because we are going to go through our lightning round of news. And if you're not watching this live, that's okay. You can listen to it later or watch it later. I would recommend you go to randomchatter.com/YouTube or youtube.com/randomchatter. Either one will get you to the same place. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the little bell for the notifications, and you will be notified when we go live or when we post new content. And then you can come join other people in the chat room here, like Mediocre Modeler and Tom and others who've been chatting with us as we've been doing the show. And you can be part of that too. And you can tell us when we're wrong on things. When I say we, I mean these 2 guys, not.
Wow.
Hey.
Wow.
Yeah. And while you're at randomchatter.com, go to the Discord server, randomchatter.com/Discord. You can also do /store to pick up some cool t-shirts. And as the fall is coming, maybe some hoodies, sweatshirts, things like that. I've got to pick up a sweatshirt. So, yeah, and we are going to be back on Tuesday night at about 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, and normally a few minutes later than that. But we're going to be reviewing Kate in detail. And then after that, we're going to be doing the Protégé the following week. And then apparently we got roped into doing a classic monster movie. Tim, I don't know if you heard that or not.
Oh, I absolutely did. I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of you guys.
Yeah. So we said, hey, if we're going to watch one, you have to pick the absolute best one. And in the back of my mind, there was only one I was even slightly interested in seeing. And it happened to be exactly the one that Robin chose for us. For more information on what that is, you're going to have to wait and watch Movie Chatter this week. And then we will be back next Sunday night with more news, more reviews, and more Force Chatter as well. So until then, take care, everybody. We'll see you then.